Well, hello and welcome to the online Medicare class. My name is Matt Mitchell. I'm with Midwest Medigap and I'll be your host here today. I'm super excited to get to talk to you about Medicare and help you get educated on all things Medicare related. I know it's not the most fun thing to talk about, and I just want to compliment you if you're joining us here. And as you trickle in, we got some people coming in as we get started here. But kudos to you for taking the time to get educated on this stuff. That means you are serious and you want to be an informed consumer. And I know there's a lot of misinformation out there about Medicare itself. And so my job here today is to get all the stuff that you hear, all the junk that you are like, well, what's these penalties and scare tactics? I want to bring you the facts today. So I'm going to pour into you guys and get you the information that you're looking for. You took the time to register for this workshop. I take that very seriously, and I've been doing this a long time. So my goal or my hope is if I'm doing my job, by the end of this, you're going to come away with hopefully the information you were looking for when you registered. So I'm not going to waste any of your time here. I'm going to get right into things. I do want to say, though, one more thing before I get into it. Please stay till the end, and I have a couple bonus items for you guys at the end of the presentation that I think you'll really love and appreciate. So stick around till the end and grab a pen and paper as well, too, if you don't have one yet. It's always helpful to take notes as we go along, and I think you'll get a lot out of this if you take some notes as I go through the slides here. So quick background on myself. Again, my name is Matt Mitchell. With Midwest Medigap is the organization we're with. We're licensed all over the country. So if you're watching this and you're wondering, well, can you help me? I'm in this particular state. The answer is yes. We work all over the country. We can answer your questions. We're very familiar with the plans all over the United States. I've been doing this since 2008. So I've been licensed a long time here now. And you can see part of the reason I do this still is it keeps me out of up in the morning, and it's the picture here. You can see my family there, and then the book that I wrote as well too about Medicare and retirement planning. So we got offices in Iowa as our headquarters, and we got another one in Arizona, but we help people all over the country, and this is just part of our team here. It's myself, and then we have a group of very highly trained and experts, all things Medicare, and they love helping people. And you can tell that they have a passion for it because we've gotten so many good reviews. If you just Google Midwest Medigap, just type us in. I won't bore you to death with all our testimonials, but we are pretty proud of them as well too, because people don't leave reviews like this unless we're doing something right. So feel free to do that on your own time there if you just want to Google us and check us out so you know you're dealing with a legit organization here. So I can't see you guys, but if I was doing this live in person, if I said, hey, are you getting any phone calls about Medicare? Most of your hands would probably go up. These days, sometimes you're not getting the phone calls because your phone actually blocks the call that comes through. So maybe you're not getting phone calls, but I guarantee they're probably trying to call you. It's just not going through, possibly. The other one is too. I know all your hands are going to go up for this one, right? If you are getting junk mail right now, you raise your hand. I'm sure all your hands went up. Everybody's getting mail, and it just gets worse and worse the closer you get to age 65. So, shoot, we might even send you some mail too. So, but you could throw all of it away here. We're going to get all your questions answered on this presentation, on this workshop, so you shouldn't have to do anything with all that mail you're getting. Now, what we're going to cover today is the 4 parts to Medicare, A, B, C, D, and we're going to go over the 2 main choices you have. You can choose a Medicare supplement or you can choose a Medicare Advantage plan. I want you to come away today understanding the difference between those, the good and the bad of each one, and then hopefully you can identify which one might be the right route for you by the end of this. And then we'll talk about important enrollment dates as well. Now, when we're building a house, how do you build a house, right? You don't start with the roof, you start with the foundation, okay? So We got to start with the foundation when it comes to Medicare, and that is Part A and Part B. That is your foundation to Medicare. It's A is your hospital coverage, B is your doctor coverage. Part A, hospital, you don't pay anything for. No monthly premium with that. For Part B, you do pay a premium, and it's $202.90 a month for most of you. If you're a higher income earner, you're going to pay a little bit more, and I'll illustrate that here on this next slide. And I can send you this slide here, this chart. So don't worry, you can take pictures if you want, but we have this. So just let us know if you want us to send it to you. But this talks about based on your adjusted gross income, and they're going to look back 2 years on your adjusted gross income, whether you file your taxes jointly or single. It's going to tell you right here how much you pay for Medicare. So most of you, it's $202 a month, but some of you, if you're a higher income earner, you will pay more than the $202, and we can help you figure that out. There's 3 scenarios that everybody's going to fall under. Scenario 1 is you are currently receiving Social Security benefits. How many of you are in scenario 1? Okay, we're going to talk about that. Scenario 2, you're not taking Social Security benefits yet. A lot of you are there. Scenario 3, hey, I'm still working, Matt. I'm not taking Social Security yet. I'm covered under my employer plan. So let's talk about all 3 of these scenarios here. Scenario 1, you got it good. You are automatically enrolled into Medicare already. You don't have to worry about signing up for Medicare. You are automatically enrolled, and you're going to get your Medicare card 3 months before you turn 65. So some of you may have already gotten your card if you're watching this. The rest of you, if you're further out, just be aware that 3 months before you turn 65 is when that card's going to be showing up for you. And they're going to take that $202.90 automatically out of your Social Security check. So everything's done and set up for Medicare for you already. Now, scenario 2, this is where you got to pay attention. You have to apply for Medicare. So if you're not taking Social Security yet, you will have to apply for Medicare. Well, how do I do that, Matt? The best way to do it is to go online and do it. SSA.gov. That's what I'd recommend. There's a form you fill out right there. Apply for Medicare. We can assist you and help you do it if you need help. But you go online and do that. You can do it over the phone. You can call Social Security, or if you got a local office, you can call them up and set an appointment and go in person and see them. The time for you to do this is 3 months before you need your Medicare to start. So 3 months before you turn 65, or 3 months before whenever you're needing your Medicare to start. And they're just going to send you a bill. So you'll get a bill in the mail. You can pay it quarterly, or you can set up automatic monthly payments if you'd rather do that. Scenario 3, hey Matt, I'm still working. I have employer coverage. What do I need to do? Do I need to sign up for Medicare? The answer is it depends. It depends if you have creditable coverage right now with your employer plan or not. So you can ask your employer, hey, is this creditable coverage? If it is, well then yeah, you can delay Medicare, no problem, no penalty. If it's not, well then you're going to have to sign up for Medicare. And you can talk to your employer about that and get clarification on it. Even if you do have creditable coverage, I do want you to compare your coverage with your cost and coverage right now with your employer coverage versus Medicare. Because too often people assume that, oh, I'm just going to keep working past 65, so I'm just going to stay on my employer insurance. And you can do that, I'm sure, if they let you. But I'll give you an example. A person we just met with not too long ago, they were just going to assume that they'll stay on their employer coverage, but they were paying about $500 a month for it, and it had this huge deductible. And so we said, well, Medicare is going to cost you $202, and then a supplement plan in addition to that is going to be a little bit more, but it's still going to be less than what you're paying for your group coverage. And that coverage that you go to with Medicare is going to be way better than your current coverage. So they were saving money and improving their coverage. So to me, it was a no-brainer for them to go to Medicare. So they just opted out of their group coverage and did Medicare at age 65, even though they're going to keep working. So that's an analysis that I encourage you to let us help you with. We can do that for you, and we can tell you, hey, nope, stay on your employer plan. That's the way to go. Or, you may want to consider going to Medicare because it'll save you money and get you better coverage too. So make sure you do that comparison. We can help you do it. Medicare is typically always going to be better coverage. So the only reason somebody would stay on their employer plan is if the cost was just so much lower that it just made sense to do that. All right, so when you do start your Medicare, when does your coverage begin? It's always going to be the first of the month. Okay, so if your birthday in July, then your Medicare is going to start the first of that month, so July 1st. Okay, the only goofy rule there is if your birthday was actually on the first of the month, well, then it would start the month prior. All right, so going back to the foundation, the Part A and the Part B of Medicare, there are gaps within Part A and Part B. There's deductibles and out of pocket that you have. Okay, so just having Medicare A and B is good coverage, but basically look at it, you're still on the hook for 20%. Because if you go into the hospital, you got a $1,700 deductible for each hospital visit and a copay after that for a daily copay and then a skilled nursing copay. And then for Part B, for the doctor, you have a deductible of $283, which that's not bad, but then you got to pay 20% with no limit on top of that. And that's where it gets scary, where basically you're going to have to pay 20% and there's no cap or limit to that exposure. So Medicare by itself is good coverage, but it's really not enough. And this is where the supplement coverage comes into play. So like I talked about earlier, you can go either Medicare Supplement or you can go Medicare Advantage. Let's dive into that right now about which one is maybe the path that you should consider. Let's talk about Medicare Supplement first. That's if we go down original Medicare here, A and B, and then we get a Medigap plan or a Medicare Supplement plan to fill in those deductibles and out-of-pocket costs. Okay, so we got original Medicare, Part A and Part B, and then you got your Medicare Supplement plan. All right, and here's our choices we can choose when it comes to the supplement plans. Now, why do they have so many dang plans here? I don't know. They just like to, it's the government. They like to confuse us, right? So the only two I want to focus on today is this Plan G that you see on the screen here, and then the Plan N that I'm kind of cutting off, and I'll show you a different slide so you can see Plan N. But if we look at Plan G, first look at the left-hand side here. You can see that's all your out-of-pocket with Medicare, your gaps, your copays, and you don't need to know like every single little detail with this. The only thing I want you to see from this is if you have Medicare A and B, and then you have a supplement Plan G, look how that covers 100% for everything, except one spot. You see the one spot on your screen? And that's your Part B, which is doctor deductible, which we already showed you on the last screen was $283. So let's break this down. This is Medicare Supplement Plan G. Some of your friends, if they're already on Medicare, probably say, oh, I got the G plan. Well, this is what they have. They probably can't explain it to you, but this is what they got. So it's 100% coverage across the board for A and B except for the deductible part. So your only responsibility would be $283 deductible for the year. That's it. It's like, well, that sounds too good to be true, man. That is Plan G. That's anything Medicare related cost. You're only out $283 for the whole year. That's it. Once you meet that deductible, you don't pay anything the rest of the year, and then the next year that would reset for you. The other plan that people really like is the Plan N, as in Nancy. It's the same exact thing as Plan G. You can see it's 100% coverage except for the Part B deductible, which is that $283 deductible. And then it doesn't cover excess charges as well, too, which really sounds scarier than what it actually is. It just says, hey, if a doctor doesn't accept Medicare assignment, then they could charge you in excess. 98% of doctors all accept Medicare assignment, so an excess charge is incredibly rare. It's more so like if you went to a behavioral health doctor, some of those don't take Medicare assignment, but the rest of the doctors do. So it's very rare, and it's only 15% above and beyond what Medicare will bill you. So if it's $100 doctor visit, you'd have to pay 15 bucks. So it's very minimal, even if you did have it in most cases. And then there's a copay of $20 for a doctor visit or $50 for an ER visit. So if you go to the doctor, pay your 20 bucks. If you go to the ER, pay your 50 bucks, and hopefully they send you home. And if you get admitted to the hospital, then you don't have to pay it. So the next question naturally is, well, Matt, which one is best? I mean, the Plan G sounds like the best. If you're asking me what is the best coverage, then yes, Plan G is the best coverage. Your out of pocket's only that $283 deductible. That's it. With Plan N, you have that same $283 deductible, and then you'd have a $20 copay for a doctor visit or a $50 copay if you go to the ER, and then the potential for the excess charge too. Now, why would somebody do a Plan N versus a Plan G? Well, you can see on the screen there that typically the price for Plan N is going to be less than Plan G in pretty much all cases. It just depends on your zip code, maybe how much the price difference is. Here are some of the companies that we work with. There's probably even more than this, but this is about all we could fit on the screen. So just to give you an idea, we are independent, so we broker for multiple carriers. All the top rated carriers in your area we represent. So this is something I really want you to understand, this piece about Medicare supplements. When is the best time to enroll? It is 6 months before you want it to start. Okay, so if you want to write this down, it is 6 months before you want it to start. You say, well, Matt, you told me earlier I could sign up for Medicare 3 months prior. Now you're telling me 6 months. These are two separate things, okay? So it sounds backwards, but a lot of people will sign up for their supplement plan or just do the application and get enrolled. It wouldn't start for 6 months, of course, but what you can do is apply, and it will lock in your price, because the prices can go up really at any time, kind of almost like the stock market in a way. But if you apply, then it would lock in that rate for you. So we have a lot of people that will apply for their supplement. If they say, hey, I know I want to do Plan G, well, then they will apply for it as soon as possible. And then it wouldn't start for them for 6 months, but at least it's done and over with and out of the way. And then when they get within 3 months, then that's when they would apply for Medicare. So it's two separate things. 6 months for the supplement, 3 months for Medicare. They're two separate enrollments. And it helps you just get it off your plate too. You don't have to mess with it anymore. And if there is a change or a tweak we need to make, it gives us plenty of time to do that. The other point I want to make is the plans are all standardized. So by law, the coverage is the same with each company. The plan must follow the letter. So if you have a Plan G, it doesn't matter what company it's with. The Plan G is a Plan G, a Plan N is a Plan N. It's going to be exactly the same regardless of the company. Now, no matter which company you do your supplement with, no matter which plan you go with, we always highly recommend cancer, heart attack, and stroke coverage. These days, more and more people are being affected with cancer. It just seems like it keeps going up and up. I'm from Iowa originally. We're like the second leading state on cancer diagnoses now. 50% of us guys, you flip a coin and us males are getting cancer. You're going to have out-of-pocket expenses if you're diagnosed with cancer no matter what, that Medicare doesn't cover. So we highly, highly recommend cancer, heart attack, and stroke coverage to pair along with whatever plan you choose. The other thing that is a big misconception that people think that Medicare is going to cover for them is skilled nursing and long-term care. 70% of people over the age of 65 are going to need some type of long-term care service at some point. It may not be for 10 or 20 years down the road, but statistically 70% of people are going to need some type of skilled nursing care at some point. Medicare is not going to cover it. The best case scenario for you is you're going to have 100 days worth of coverage. Best case scenario with Medicare and your supplement plan. So you either self-fund it and just your retirement accounts, they're just going to spend those down, or you can get a plan that you put in place to avoid that from happening. And we can talk more about that later. But that is another piece that is a big misconception that a lot of people think their supplement plan covers it, but it's not Medicare covered at all. And you can see right in your Medicare handbook, it will tell you paying for long-term care. It's important to start planning now for this to maintain your independence and make sure you get the care you need, because Medicare will not cover it, so you either got to self-fund it or come up with a plan, and we can help you do that. So part of this is what we call our umbrella coverage. This is how you can eliminate your major exposures with Medicare. So what we've just talked about would be like an umbrella 3 situation, where you would have your Medicare supplement plan, you'd have your prescription plan, your cancer, heart attack, and stroke coverage paired with your dental, and then the skilled nursing coverage. That would be what we would call, in simple terms, we call that our umbrella 3, okay? And then we have a customized umbrella 2 and umbrella 1 as well, just depending on your situation. Not everybody needs the skilled nursing coverage, and then not everybody can afford it too, right? Everybody's budget is a little bit different when it comes to this stuff. So we talked about original Medicare, we talked about the supplement. Now let's talk about the prescription drug coverage. This would be separate. So you would actually have a separate plan to cover you if you're taking any prescription medication. And our process here, it's real simple. We just take any drugs that you're taking, plug them into our calculator, and our system would just tell you which plan would be the best one for you to go with based off of your medications. And if your medications change, we can review this and reevaluate each year during the enrollment period, which is October to December. And that's what we do for all our clients. If you want to have us help you just do a review each year, well, that's the time to do it. So if we just put this all tie a bow on this and do a recap, we got our Part B Medicare, that's 202. We got our Plan G or Plan N supplement, whichever one you go with there. That's going to vary on cost based on your zip code, but let's say it's $150, $200. And then your drug plan premium, the nice thing with those is those are very cheap and inexpensive. Most of you are going to pay $0 for that, or maybe $5, $10 a month. So that just kind of gives you an overall picture of what your total cost might be looking like. Again, all subject to your zip code, and depending on where you're located, the cost can vary quite a bit. So now let's shift gears here. We just talked about original Medicare and the Medigap Medicare supplement plan with drug coverage. Now we're going over to Medicare Advantage. This is what they call Part C, as in Charlie. It's going to combine everything all together, and they call it Medicare Advantage. So it combines your Part A, your Part B, and your Part D just in one plan all together. And the difference is with this is these plans typically have little or no monthly premium. The trade-off though is you're going to have a network. So if you're somebody who doesn't like networks, well then Medicare Advantage may not be a fit for you. If you're somebody who doesn't mind network of doctors, well then then it's not going to be a problem. Companies, Aetna, United Healthcare, Humana, WellCare, they do these types of plans. You probably see them advertised on TV all the time. So basically what you're doing is you're replacing your Medicare with this type of plan, where now the insurance company, whoever you go with, is running the show and not Medicare. Okay, everything gets billed to the insurance company. Pretty similar to what you're probably doing right now if you're on a employer group plan or on your own individual insurance. Some other advantages with this, or the extra benefits you get, a lot of them include a gym membership. So if you like to work out, a lot of them have a gym membership included. Dental, vision, and hearing is included. Sometimes they include over-the-counter benefits, and sometimes, or most of the time, they include your drug coverage as well too, all under one plan on one card. And this is just kind of a snapshot of what one would look like. So you can see your monthly premium would be $0, and then you would have a maximum out of pocket, if you're in network, $4,200 for the year. And I'm not saying that's what they all are. The difference with Medicare Advantage is it depends on your zip code again. They're all different, but this is just kind of an example one that we gave, just right off of Medicare's website. And then it does include your dental, vision, and hearing, and it does include your drug coverage. Excuse me. And then your primary doctor on this particular plan would be $0. If you went and saw a specialist, it'd be $30. So this is a pretty common looking plan here. And then just picture like a copay for every little thing that you had done. If you have x-rays and outpatient surgery, like you'd have a copay for each one of those, and then all those copays add up to this 4,200, and then you're done. You don't have to pay anything above that 4,200. And so, again, some of the disadvantages that people don't like with Medicare Advantage would be the networks, right? You're restricted to a network of doctors. The plans can change annually. You know, your doctor might be a network one year, and then the next year they're out of network, and that's annoying to some people. You have to change doctors often sometimes. You have prior authorizations. If you hear these companies about, oh, they denied the claim, well, that's what the prior authorization is. When you hear companies denying claims, that's what this is. So they might have just said, oh, you know, we're not going to approve this. Usually there's an appeals process, though. Like, we could help you through that and appeal it and get it overturned. A key point I want everybody to make sure they're aware of. Nobody talks about this because the thinking is, well, man, I'm healthy now. I'll just do Advantage since it's cheaper, and then I'll switch to supplement if something goes wrong. Not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do that because you can't change to a supplement plan with pre-existing conditions. All right. So if that were the case, we'd sign everybody up for an Advantage plan until they got sick, and then they go to a supplement plan, right? So it doesn't work that way. This is your one-time opportunity. You can get on any plan with any company that you want, no health questions asked. If you start out with the Advantage plan, a couple years later you get cancer and you want to switch to a supplement, not going to happen. You're going to be stuck on that Advantage plan for the rest of your life. It's not always a bad thing, you know. It's just, you know, you're going to have to pay those copays. Some more issues we're having with Medicare Advantage right now is we're seeing more doctors go out of network. You know, Mayo Clinic, huge hospital, just went out of network here this year. We're seeing rising denials, some plan exits. Plans are going out of certain counties, and reduced networks. So that's just stuff that's happening right now. Hopefully that changes in the future, but just be aware of it if you're looking the Medicare Advantage route. It's kind of rocky times here in certain areas. Some areas are fine, right? So we can help you determine that and help you decide, oh, based in your area, I'd maybe shy away, or somebody else's area, you're like, hey, these plans are going great, and we're not really seeing any issues here. But just stuff to be aware of what's going on and what we've been seeing lately. And again, we're seeing increased costs in certain markets. And then I already mentioned Mayo Clinic. There's a few other hospital systems that had just recently dropped Medicare Advantage. So just important information to know about that sometimes people don't mention this stuff. So comparing the two options, we kind of already did that, Medigap versus Medicare Advantage. I will kind of give you my 2 cents here. So if you go the Medicare supplement route, predictable cost in exchange for lower out-of-pocket, right? So you're going to pay a higher premium, but when you use it, you're going to have little or no out-of-pocket. Just very predictable, right? With Medicare Advantage, you're going to have lower monthly premiums, little or no monthly premiums. But then if you stay healthy, well, hey, you know, my health care costs are little or nothing, right? But if I do get sick, well, then I'm going to have those copays and out of pocket that, you know, if I stay healthy, great. If I get sick, then I'm going to be stuck with some bills up to, you know, potentially $9,000 or more. So just be aware of that. You're taking a little bit more risk on. If you stayed healthy the next 10, 15 years, hey, that's going to be a heck of a deal for you. You're going to save a lot of money. The problem is I don't have a crystal ball, and neither do you, and so that makes it challenging, right? Because we've seen people take advantage because they're healthy as a horse at 65, and then at 67 something really bad happens, and you know, so just be aware of that. Of course, all this depends on your budget as well too. My just general takeaway is if you can afford the premium on the Medicare supplement plan, then just do that, and makes your life a lot easier, in my opinion. But no matter what, no matter if you go the supplement route or Medicare Advantage, I can't stress this enough. We highly recommend the umbrella coverage to pair along with it. Again, it's going to make your life easier and better if you did get sick. you're not going to be stuck with these large out-of-pocket costs no matter which way you go. The umbrella coverage is there to protect you, okay? And we can help customize the umbrella coverage for you based on how much risk you want to take on. If you're somebody who doesn't like to take on risk, well, then you're going to want to do an umbrella 3, and that's going to be the way for you to go to minimize your risk. If you are a risk taker and don't mind out of pocket potential, then you may fall into one of the other categories. All right, so let's dispel a couple myths here. All right, so a lot of people sometimes when we do these workshops, they'll say, "Yeah, what do you guys charge? I know you guys aren't doing this for free, and you're not volunteering," which is true, but we get paid by the insurance companies, so we don't charge you a fee or anything for our service. Our consulting does not cost you anything. Say, okay, well, if you get paid by the insurance company, then they must charge a higher price if we go through a broker. And again, that's not true. You're going to pay exactly the same price whether you went through a broker or just went and tried to figure this stuff out all yourself, which I'll say, you know, with technology and AI these days, like, can you research this yourself and figure it out? Some of you might be able to, but gosh, if you could get a broker or somebody to help you out with this and just walk you through everything, make sure you do it correctly, because you might have it figured out right now, but what if something changes with Medicare next year, and then what? It just the guidance doesn't cost you anything, so there's really no downside to using a broker. I mean, you could do it yourself, possibly some of you, but it also might take you a lot of time to do all the research too. Like for me, even if a broker did cost money, I might even pay them and say, "Hey, look, you figure this out for me and save me the time from having to do this myself." But it doesn't even cost you anything, so take advantage of that. And then, hey, if you do get paid by the insurance companies, you must have a bias towards one company versus the other. We get paid basically the same with all the carriers, and we work with all the top ones. So our job is to help you get the right plan. Doesn't matter what company. Well, we vet the company, so we pick the one that we think would fit you best, and then that's how we make our decision. So just wanted to clear up a few of those myths that some people have when they're on these workshops. They're like always wondering like, hey, what at the end there's going to be a fee, and there's no fees or anything. So feel free to take the consultations that the brokers give you for information, and it's just all to your benefit. We're almost to the end here, so thanks for hanging in there. If you do see on the screen, there should be a calendar somewhere. If you're at the point now where you'd like to book a consultation, there should be somewhere on the screen here that allows you to click a calendar link or something that you can go ahead and book a phone call with us and just do an introductory um, analysis, or you can ask any questions we have. That's what they're designed for, and then we would get you your roadmap and cost summary report, and I'll talk more about that here in a minute. But one thing that a lot of people have questions on too is on the retirement side of things. So if you're coming on to Medicare, a lot of people are transitioning over to the retirement side of things, and so we also have people in place on our team here to help you out with that. So do you have a will or trust in place yet? Do you have a 401k maybe with an employer that you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do with that now? 403bs, Roths, IRAs. Do you have an income plan in place for retirement? Yes, I'll be getting Social Security, but what do I do with these retirement accounts? How do I not pay as much in taxes on those? What about if I need to go into assisted living or nursing home? Like, what about paying more for Medicare premiums? How do I avoid that? So there's some of you are going to require some of this planning as well too. So that is another side of things that we offer, and they kind of go hand in hand. But on our phone consultations, please make a point to bring this part up if you have questions on this side of things too. Please let us know, and we can get you some information on all this stuff too, because I know it's a big topic. A lot of you, you'll probably have questions on tax planning, or hey, do you have a trust set up? That a lot of people we talk to don't even have a trust set up, and that can avoid all kinds of issues for you down the road. That's not really Medicare related, but you got to have this stuff buttoned up too. So we have a whole team of experts here that help with IRMA, Social Security. You want to know how to maximize your Social Security in retirement? We can do an analysis for you on that as well. So here's where we're at. There's 3 phases to a successful Medicare journey or retirement journey. We're basically done with phase 1 right now. It's for you to get educated, right? So we're doing that right now. We're in phase 1. You are taking the time to get educated here. And so now we're on to phase 2. And this is where you would book your free consultation to speak with one of our friendly advisors on our team. And what we're going to do for you is get you your 2 bonus items that I talked about at the beginning of the presentation. Bonus item number 1 is going to be your customized Medicare roadmap. Everything's customized to you, your step-by-step action guide on when to do and what to do. Bonus item number 2 is going to be your cost summary report. We'll put together all your costs for you so you know exactly what you're going to be paying for your Medicare and how much it's going to cost you every month. These 2 bonus items we'll put together for you for free. They're yours to have. There's no obligation or anything. We just want to help you get the information and help you make a good decision and know which plan and which direction is appropriate for you. Now with phase 3, if you do decide you want to work with us, then we will not only hold your hand through the whole process right now, but we'll do annual reviews with you as well, and you have access to our lifetime billing and claims service team. All right, so we have a whole team dedicated for you. If you have an issue, you have a question, you can call and text and email. If you have a billing issue, you can call us. We'll take care of it for you. And if you want to do an annual review, we got you. You know, we will be there for you. If anything changes with Medicare, then we are going to be here for you long term. We've been doing this a long time. And this is why we also have such good reviews on Google too, because once you become a client of ours, you know, we stay in touch with you and keep you informed with what's going on with Medicare. So here we are. We're at the end. So thanks for sticking around till the end here. Go ahead and book your call. I saw my computer was popping up here on my screen. I was seeing throughout the presentation some people already booking their calls in their time spots. So it looks like the calendar here already, like I see it starting to fill up. So hopefully whatever time you're looking for, that time slot is available for you at this point. But just if you click the calendar link on here, you should be able to grab a spot, and hopefully we can get a time that works for you. Ask us questions. When we hop on these calls, we want to customize it for you. So just make sure when we talk to you, we'll get a good idea of your situation, and then we'll customize a plan to you. And if you want to go to our website too, I don't know if you guys like to read, but we have this book here too, basically talks about what I just talked about in the webinar. But our website, MidwestMedigap.com, you can go and download a copy of our book here. All right. So if you want to read more and learn more about us, our website, MidwestMedigap.com. Other than that, that's it. I hope you learned a thing or two here. If you have any friends, family, anybody else coming on to Medicare here soon who needs this information, please pass our contact info along. Let us know. I can get them this webinar content, this presentation. Let's get them registered for this too, so we can get them the info. A lot of people just do this and try to figure it out themselves, or they make a bad decision, right? So that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to help as many people as we can with this, and I can't thank you enough for joining us here on the class, and we can't wait to talk to you on your one-on-one consultations. So other than that, you guys all have a great rest of your week, and we will be in touch.